Hey, how's everyone doing? This is the Melvin Live Show, and you know, Happy New Year, right? Have a blessed New Year. This it's just so exciting itself because 2021 is full of anticipation and excitement, and there's just so much that is going on in 2021 that I am just so excited about, right? And I'd like to share with you what's going on. The few things. Number one is that I have put together a series of 26 chapters, right? A series of 26 chapters. And what you can do is that you could actually go to the website, and I'm just going to give you the website in just a moment. So you can go to the website and you can subscribe to the what do you call that? To the newsletter itself. And what's going to happen is that I am going to send you um, 26 chapters, right? 26 chapters of the um, guide on live streaming itself. So that's going to be something that you can definitely look forward to. And I am definitely so excited to be sharing with you. Um, it's something that I have been thinking about for quite some time. And I just decided that, hey, this is something that I want to do. And so I have then decided that, hey, this is what's going to happen, right? And so right now, the page has gone live. And so what you can do is just hit on down to, let me type this out, right? Just hit on down to this website itself. And I must say that the website, the URL of the website, it's really, really cool. Um, I managed to snap out this URL itself. So what happens is that if you go to, so maybe just let me show you what it looks like, right? So just give me 1 second, and there you go. So this is the website. So when you get to livestream.rocks, what you see is this landing page itself. And on this page, you will see the A to Z guide on live streaming in 2021, right? So I put together this indispensable guide for the one-person business looking to use live streaming as their competitive edge in 2021. So if that is you, if you want to learn how to use live stream as your competitive edge in 2021, then make sure you head on down to livestream.rocks and make sure you hit subscribe to get your 26 chapters delivered to you on a daily basis itself, right? So this is something that you can definitely look out for, and that is something that I want to bring to you and I want to share with you. And if you're thinking of crushing it, this year when it comes to live streaming, then definitely this is something that you want to consider, right? Something that you want to use, something that you want to be able to, you know, um, use this as a platform, as a way to reach out to more people, to engage with more of your potential customers, to be able to reach out to people that you otherwise would not be able to reach out to. You want to be able to bring your business to your prospects, bring your business to your customers, then definitely live streaming is something that you want to do. So make sure you hit subscribe on the page itself, and you will then be able to get these 26 chapters of how to use live streaming and to crush it in 2021. All right. So with that aside, let's head on down to today's topic. Now, I want to start off the year by saying that we are faced with abundant choices. We are definitely in an era, in a context, in a time frame whereby we are spoiled for choice, right? No one should be caught saying that I do not have a choice, I do not know what to do, I do not know how to do that. Because if you are saying that I do not have a choice, there's just so much choices in the world for you to do. I mean, if you want to be able to build this one person, 1 million or digital business, some of the things that you can do would literally blow your mind. I mean, can someone who just focus on live streaming be able to build a $1 million annual recurring revenue business itself? Possibly, right? Is it possible to just use the internet and use synchronous training to build a 1 million all digital business? Absolutely. So when it comes down to the number of choices, we are spoiled for choices. So no one should say that I have no choice, I do not know what to do. Now the next thing is, people would say that I do not know how to do that, I do not know how to build a landing page, I do not how to build a website, I do not how to build a learning management system. Now, unfortunately, if you are saying that, then obviously, you are not being resourceful, because it's not about the resources we have. We, if even if we do not have the resources, if we are resourceful enough, we would be able to find the resources that we need. And that is something that I have learned, and I've also heard Tony Robbins say this over and over and over again, whereby it's not about resources, but it's about resourcefulness, right? And so this stays at the tip of your fingertip. At your fingertip itself, you have access to all this information. If you do not know how to create a live stream, go ahead and Google it, and you'll be able to find out tons and tons of information about how to live stream. If you do not know how to build a landing page, just go on and go to Google or go to YouTube and just search how to build a landing page, and you would be drowning in information. And speaking of drowning in information, we are drowning in information. So please do not say, I do not know how to do it, because if you know how to search for something, you will be able to find out how to do it. Now, whether you can do it or not, that it's another thing altogether. And even with in response to that, I would even say that, it comes down to, are you willing to learn, right? Are you willing to learn? And because there's just so many tutorials, whether it's free or even it's paid, there are tutorials that will be able to help you achieve your goals and to be able to do things that you previously aren't able to do. I mean, I didn't just grow up one day and know how to live stream. I don't just grow up one day and know how to speak to a camera. I learned this through trial and error. I forced myself to learn this. I hunkered down and I taught myself, right? From episode one to now, episode 219. That's what I do. I teach myself how to do it. I collaborate. I ask other people who have been doing it. I find out how do they do it. I learn from them. Some of them I pay them. Some of them they are just doing me a favor, but just sharing with me what is it that they know. So please, my friends, there is no excuses for us to say that we have no choices or we do not have the resources or we do not know how to do something. Now, all said and done, the rent over, right? All said and done, the thing that you ought to need to be focusing on is that with all this merit of choices that are made available to you, the only single question that you have to ask yourself is, how would you choose? How would you choose what to do? Right? What is it that you would do on a consistent basis? What is it that you would do, and what is it that you will not do? Right? So when it comes to that level itself, really what you would do has to be predicated on some assumptions, some beliefs, some part in terms of your capability, some part in terms of your outlook on certain things. And the reason why you would not choose to do something else would be, again, based on those things, because it's predicated based on your assumptions, your beliefs, your capabilities, and maybe even your resources itself. So today I want to share with you about this thing called trade-offs, because as in economics, we all learn about this thing called trade-offs. So to back it up a little bit, in the study of economics, we actually look at things as a limited resources situation. In other words, we're saying that if the world has got only 100 pieces of land, there is only going to be 100 pieces of land. So if you are going to hold 99 pieces, then only one piece is left for the rest of us, right? So there is limited amount of resources. And so as a result of that, there comes a point whereby we have certain belief that perhaps some of these resources are better allocated to people who are more effective and more efficient in using those resources compared to spreading the resources equally to everyone. So take for example, if we were to give every person a cow, right? We were to give every person a cow. Some of us would know what to do with the cow. We may use the cow to plow our field. We may use the cow to do certain things for us so that we are able to produce more, leveraging that cow, that animal itself, right? And then there will be some of us who would be looking at a cow and wondering what to do with it. And perhaps, one day, the next day, a week went by, a month went by, and years went by, and we're still staring at the cow. So herein lies the situation whereby if we are going to spread out the resources equally to everyone so that every single household gets a cow, that in its aggregate level and an economy level might not be better off for everyone. So instead, perhaps we should allocate all the cow to the most efficient and the most effective household. And then perhaps those households that are not quite familiar or do not know what to do with the cow would then be, working for those families who have the cow. And in return for their work, they will get paid. Right. And so that is the core idea with resource allocation. Now, of course, there is always that search for what we call an optimal resource allocation ratio, right? In other words, if we are forced with a situation whereby we have so many cow with so many household, what is the best way to distribute these cows to the household so that we can get a maximum amount of output at the aggregate level, right? So think of it as if you are if you run a country, right? You run a country and you have just so many plots of land for allocated for commercial or industrial usage. And of course, you want to allocate those parcel of land to the most effective and the most efficient users compared to allocating it to someone who just sits on the land and do nothing, because those people who are more effective and more efficient will then be able to get more output at the aggregate level. So that is resource allocation at its simplest level. Now, then of course there is that basic concept or that fundamental concept that in this situation, we are always faced with what we call scarce resources. So resources are scarce, and because resources are scarce, that's why we have to allocate them in an optimal way so that we can get the best or the more or the maximum output, right? So likewise, in our situation, we want to think of the number of hours that we have, right? The number of hours that we have, technically speaking, it's limited. So we can talk about how we could expand and how can we make our hours unlimited much later, right? But just focus on that now. Now we have a limited number of hours, and so in that many hours itself, of course, we need to allocate hours to sleeping, to cleaning, to eating, and to investing time with family, and probably investing time on ourselves, right? So that in itself, it's a way to think about how you're going to allocate the amount of time for work and for leisure and for play, for example. So given the fact that we all have limited number of hours in a day, what you want to think of is what is the best way to allocate it in such a way so that you are able to get the most optimal results, right? So that you are able to get the most optimal results. So in the past, what I used to think about was, all right, I have so many hours in a day that I could trade it for money, right? So 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, 4 weeks in a month. And this is the number of bankable hours that I have to sell it to the highest bidder so that I'm able to exchange my time doing the work and getting paid. Now, of course, with that itself, right, the key thing that you would have to think of is how much is the person or the people paying you at an hourly rate basis? Because the only way that you can get the most optimal amount of returns in monetary terms, right? It's to sell your hours to the highest bidder. But then there is a problem, because the problem is that there is just so many hours that you can sell it for. So, how do we think outside the box figuratively? And so this is where I want to talk to you about trade-offs. Now, yes, Jim Collins does say that the genius of N, which means you are not forced into a dichotomy whereby you say that I can only do this or this, right? I can do both, right? So, yes, perhaps in the past, the idea of it's either I do this or I do that. I can't simply do both. So, for instance, if you are earning, let's say, $80 an hour, and you can only sell so many hours in a day, but you wanted more, then the only way is to, after hours, every day at work, after hours, is to look for a second job and to work for another few hours so that you are able to get additional income. So people think of like, oh, in the day I would drive for Grab or Uber, right? And then at night or in the evening, I would, be a property agent, right? Or I will be an insurance agent, for example. So there will be people who will think of like, okay, since I've got some free time, I will use that time to earn money, right? And that's well and good, because that is one way. But that in itself, built in, there is a cap, and that cap is just the number of hours. There's just so many hours you can drive in a day, right? So where does this leave us? Now, this leave us to a situation whereby if we're going to think of it that way, then definitely there's going to be a trade-off. I can only choose this or this, right? Someone's going to pay me 85, someone's paying me 80, I will go for the 85. And I can only pick one. I can pick both. Now, what if there is a way to actually pick both? In other words, what if the trade-off doesn't even exist? What if this dichotomy is actually a false dichotomy, right? So that is something that you really want to think of. And so here is where live streaming becomes a part of the solution to the problem, because you will want to think of, if you were to do something, let's say in the past, right? Let's say for me, in the daytime, what I do is I work as a consultant, right? And yes, it's lucrative, it's good money, it pays the bills, more than pays the bills. It enabled me to support my family, allow my wife to choose not to work and to really invest time with both my kids. I mean, you know, more than I can ask for, right? And so that is one aspect of it, right? Now, then as I was thinking, like perhaps I could do something else to earn additional income. And that was when I thought perhaps I could sell something that is related to my consulting work. So, for example, I could sell a software, or I could sell additional training packages, for example. So it's like an add-on, right? So in addition to, getting the client, we would also get the client to buy more from us, right? So that it's one way that you can grow. And of course, the other way is to in our free time to do something that is able to generate income. However, once again, that comes back to the same problem whereby you are limited by the number of hours. Because let's say you work for 8 hours a day, and you invest another 2 hours doing some part-time sales work or doing some part-time work, for example, whether it's driving for Grab or anything else, right? You spend the other 2 hours, but that 2 hours is just going to make you income one time. Now, where does live stream comes into the picture? Instead, if you invest that same 2 hours on live streaming, right, in creating content to solve people's problem, to creating content to help people achieve their goals, to create content to help people achieve their dreams, and you invest the 2 hours every day, right? So I get it. In the initial phase, you might not even see any kind of return. And when I say initial phase, it could be even for the first 6 months or the first 1 year, or even for the first 2 years, or perhaps even for the first 5 years, you will not see any return or substantial return, right? And so this is where you start thinking about the trade off. If I'm going to do this, but it's not going to bring me anything in the short term, I might as well do this thing where in the short term it's going to bring me something. Now, this is where in the long run you will screw yourself up. And which is why live streaming can be that competitive edge for you if you do it right. So, how are you going to do it right? Well, that's the reason why I have decided to put together this A to Z guide in on live streaming in 2021. Right, this A to Z guide on live streaming in 2021. And what I'm going to do is every day I'm just going to send you one aspect of it, right? Just one aspect of it. And it's probably going to take you like 5 minutes to read, 2 or 3 minutes to think through, and perhaps 1 minute to work on a particular exercise. So just 26 days. In 26 days, you will learn the A to Z of live streaming, and you'll be able to execute and start making live stream a competitive edge for you. And so, if that's something that you're looking out for, make sure you go to the website livestream.rocks, right? Go to the website livestream.rocks, and this is where you will be able to, you will be able to, right? Livestream.rocks. So you will be able to go in there and sign up for the opt-in, right? And you would get one email a day for 26 days on the A to Z of live streaming. Make sure you head on down and grab that. All right. So that's something that you can get. So if you were to invest 2 hours a day, and why would I say that this is an investment? Because the work, you're just going to do it one time. You're just going to do it one time on a consistent basis for a period of time, right? And I am very certain that in my 219 episodes itself, I've learned a great deal, and I can tell you what you can do to be able to achieve the kind of results that I've achieved in a shorter period of time, right? So when we talk about results, it could be number of views, number of subscribers, the quality of your video, the quality of the sound, the quality of your lighting, the quality or the visual appeal of your background, all that kind of thing. Instead of you having to figure it out, spend money, and sometimes throwing good money after bad, right? To try out things and then to realize that it doesn't work for you, leverage my mistakes, leverage my experience, and shorten the amount of time that you have, right, in getting live streaming right for 2021. Okay, so make sure you head on down to that website and subscribe there. And so the reason why I say live streaming is going to be the competitive edge, it's because it's going to allow you to do something one time, but over time, this thing is going to build for you over and over and over again. I, any one of you who have made YouTube videos, you will know that YouTube is not just a platform for broadcasting, but it's a platform for archives as well. So it could be weeks or months or even years later. For I have videos that are 4 years old that are still getting watched by people to this very day, right? And it's just mind blown because I only had to make that video one time, but it's continued to work for me over and over and over again. So this is what we say where we say that it is a digital asset, an asset that is going to be able to help you earn either prospects, earn leads, earn customers, or earn an income over and over and over again. I mean, just the other day, I had someone who signed up for a webinar that I have created some time ago. Again, that is testimonial to create ones and to be able to benefit from it over and over and over and over again. So, my friends, the way that you want to do this is that you want to think about, yes, this is how I'm going to use my time for the most part. But am I able to carve out maybe 30 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 2 hours, right, to focus on creating a live show and then using that live show as a means to build up digital assets that you will be able to send people back, right? So, for example, if people are looking for a particular answer or particular question to to their problem itself, you can send them back to one of your videos. And when they watch that video, inevitably they are going to discover you, they are going to know about your capabilities, and more importantly, they are going to be able to trust you. And that's what we are after here, my friends, right? So think about if you would want to leverage live streaming in 2021, right? So think of the trade-off. If you're not going to do live streaming, what else are you going to do? I mean, fine, you may not do live streaming, but what else are you going to do, right? What else are you going to do if you're not going to do live stream? Because what else are you going to do to start building digital assets? That digital assets that could leverage and that could bring you recurring revenue, recurring ways, or just being a 24/7 sales person for you that doesn't complain, doesn't ask for a raise, doesn't call in sick, doesn't give you attitude. Think about that. And perhaps that might give you an answer for how you could and why you should leverage live stream in 2021 for your business. Right? So, um, once again, let me say this again. You see it down in the lower third below. That is the website. Go to that website. Make sure you subscribe, and you will get 26 chapters of how you could leverage live stream and make it your competitive edge in 2021. So that, my friend, is my gift to you for the new year. and subscribe to it. Let me know what you think. And, once again, of course, if you have got a question, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel at melvin.live. And as well as if wherever you're watching this from, make sure you go ahead and like it. If it has been helpful, go ahead and follow, connect, or subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And with that, I thank you so much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And have a blessed new year and all the best for 2021. Bye bye.